We also have Zelensky going rogue. Zelensky going rogue. Right here. This is Zelensky at a press conference repudiating everything that Donald Trump has effectively said that they agree with Russia on, especially around the issue of territorial integrity.
So far, the Russians are not showing that they're ready to finish the war. With regard to the Crimean territory, that would be one of the sensitive and complex issues at the future. The first step is one thing. The ceasefire, of course, we need to cross some grounds to get there in order to have quiet sky and quiet seas. So they are the correct steps if we want to end the war with a just peace. And then we'll be moving to other questions. Amongst them, of course, would be territory questions.
Dude, you've lost the war. You've lost the war. Zelensky is saying this as his people are trapped right now in Kursk. Don't take my word for it. Reuters pointed it out in brutal, blunt details. They are trapped in Kursk. Full stop. Thousands of men are about to lose their lives as they're being bombed, shot, droned relentlessly. They cannot get out. They cannot get support. They cannot contact headquarters. They are trapped and will be destroyed. As Medvedev says, methodically and mercilessly destroyed. Those were his words. That is what's going to happen. And you are standing here as the loser of a war, claiming what you want and what you don't want, as if you have any choice in the matter. Your funder has said he wants this over with. If he's serious about it, he can cut your funding at any moment, cut your support, cut your intelligence, leave your people out there with their ass hanging out. Control is not a thing that you have at your disposal in the moment. And as I keep pointing out, I suspect Donald Trump's main thing is, I need to get rid of him. He is an impediment to anything I am trying to accomplish by making statements just like this. You go and have a conversation with the principal in Moscow, President Putin. In that, you come out with the fig leaf of, we are not going to hit energy systems. And Ukraine immediately comes out and hits the energy system. He has an issue. He has a problem. He is not on board for this process. He is accepted, almost in an ethereal sense, this war. And in order to end this war, Trump is going to have to do something about Zelensky. Zelensky has to go by hook or by crook. You must get rid of him and put in somebody who is more amenable to come into an assessment that is more in line with what you think. Now, as Mark pointed out, that is a problem for Russia. If you're talking about denazifying Ukraine, you're not talking about putting in another collaborator, in a sense, Nazi collaborator. You're talking about putting in a new government that is not full of these banderites. You're talking about something else. It is not enough to just get rid of Zelensky. That government needs to be pulled up root and branch in order for anything new to happen in a political space that is more in line and amenable with an actual view of Ukraine. I hope that makes sense. Zelensky is a problem, but it's not just Zelensky. Even if you got rid of Zelensky and you put in somebody who is still part of the, as they call them, band of Nazis, or if you want to say neo-Nazis or far-right Ukrainians, whatever you want to call them, you still run into the same problem. If you're trying to solve this for a generation, you need to get rid of all of them. They need to be out of power. And that is not just Zelensky. That is the person under Zelensky, Yermak. That is Zelensky, if he comes into play. That is any of these people. They need to go. Now, the reality is, though, that just like in the United States, where many of these Republicans don't agree with Trump policy, but goes along with that policy, he may be able to find some yes man in Ukraine that is willing to do it, which would create complications Because again, part of Russia's negotiation is denazifying Ukraine, and by that, a new government, and a government not of these people. Which is the reason why Dmitry pointed out, okay, they may need to go to Kiev, meaning the Russians may actually need to go to Kiev in order to resolve it politically, in a political sense, where you have effectively won the war outright because the Ukrainian forces have collapsed. Zelensky is not helping Donald Trump's goal in this moment. Zelensky needs to go. They are going rogue. And I'm saying Zelensky is going rogue because he's effectively repudiating everything Trump says. Trump is like, yeah, we agree on most of this stuff. The majority of it, we agree on. Okay, that would mean territorial concessions. That would mean Ukraine not being part of NATO. Maybe Trump disagrees with a portion of it that says, a new government. Who knows? But I suspect that the parts that they agree on, territorial integrity questions, Russia's not giving up the territory, off the table. And you can't do anything about it, which is wild to me that you have him coming out saying this is a red line. Okay, tell me more about your red lines from the position of losing a war. Tell me more about